Well, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are here to talk about Canva and how to get Canva working in your school division. So, and my name's Dennis. Welcome here. And Cami, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Canada. My name is Cami Cannikins, and I'm coming to you from the south corner of Alberta, Medicine Hat, Alberta, where it was minus 40 last week, and it's
Oh,
above a lot today. The water's running like a river. And
same
so,
here. Yeah.
um, anyways, Dennis and I love being extended team members for Logics. I work as a district-wide instructional coach, and I get to do lots of technology work and work with teachers about technology and literacy and all sorts of things. So that's what I do in my job. How about you, Dennis?
Yeah, it's very similar. I'm a technology coordinator. I have a lot of different hats, but part of it is working in schools and with teachers like yourself and learning how to do things well, in this case, Canva. So I'm looking forward to working with you today. All right, so I just want to acknowledge I'm in Red River Valley School Division, and that's just south of Winnipeg. And our land acknowledgement is as follows. We educate our youth on Treaty 1 territory. That's the home of the Anishinaabe and the Red River Métis and the Dakota peoples. Red River Valley Division honors the treaties made by the Crown of First Nations and recognize First Nation people as original stewards of the land and seek to restore these foundational relationships through education, inclusion, in the spirit of reconciliation. It is our belief that this will provide a better future for our youth and community members. And there's a really cool website. I don't know if you've been there, but if you want to check out where the original people were from your area, check it out. It's really cool. We're just in Winnipeg, or right about there. I don't know if you can see where my mouse is, but that's where we are. And this is Lodge Academy. As Candy was saying, we are extended members. We love doing sessions like this with teachers. So thanks Logix for putting this together. And also Microsoft, of course, they always are very generous with their support for PD sessions like this. And you know what? We're going to get started with Canva. Sorry to say. We're going to get started with Canva. Cami, take it away, please.
All right. So today we do have access to the comments in YouTube. And sometimes you have to so if you're watching us in YouTube, you want to kind of click that comment section open so it drops down. We'd love to know where you're coming to us from and all sorts of things. So today we are actually excited. We're kicking off a whole series of teacher PDs for Canva. And then next week coming up, there's going to be some student facing co-taught lessons as well. So this is the very first one. So this is kind of an intro to Canva. Dennis just dropped today's deck in there. So you can absolutely use that link, and we'll actually be doing some playing in there. So if you want to go ahead and open that, that would be great. So we're going to talk a little bit of the nuts and bolts of how to get started with Canva. We'll see your experience with Canva. And then today's kind of about some basics. And so we're going to go right back to the beginning. We'll actually kind of for Dennis's sake, he's kind of new to Canva. All the ladies in his school district are good at Canva, and they're saying, come on, Dennis, you got to get with the Canva program. So maybe this will be for Dennis. Look at some of the basics. Hopefully throw a little bit of AI in there, some of the Canva's magic media, because it's just so fascinating. I'm hoping we have time for that. And I also want to make you aware of some of the incredible resources for educators that exist within Canva. So how to use Canva, maybe a little AI, and then as educators, what are some of the parts there? Welcome, Kimberly Ann from Ontario.
Yay. Okay.
Okay, so I'd love it if we gave everybody a minute to get into their Canva account, or sorry, go get into that deck. So bit.ly/Logix Canva intro, all lowercase. You can click the link in the chat or just type in that bit.ly there. And that will take you to a deck where you're going to have oodles of links, oodles of interactive, and there's also some interactive pieces. And so one of the things that is new in Canva is a poll. Dennis, you can click on there as well. And
in fact, I do have an educator. All right.
click into
Good
that
day.
poll.
That's something new because when I first started working with this, I didn't have that option to do these really cool polls.
Well, it's pretty new in Canva altogether. So let's just see.
We got 6 votes. So 7 votes, all saying yes, they have an educator account. Awesome.
Oh, interesting how yours is updating and mine,
It's not, yours is
which
not up.
should, isn't.
Oh, funny. Yeah, I got 11 votes.
Actually, or no, actually it is. There's 12 votes and everybody has a yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it. I see what's happening there. Okay. So we have lots of you that are familiar with Canva. That's awesome. Okay, let's keep going, Dennis, on your deck for a little bit here.
Welcome, Cindy from Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, or Alberta, one of the two, probably Saskatchewan.
Well, she says Saskatchewan. Oh, Chantel's coming from the Bahamas. So, Madame Bernachet, if you go into this, the link that's on the screen, so the bit.ly/Logix Canva intro, that takes you to today's deck. And then if you go ahead to about its slide number 8 in the Canva deck, then there is a poll. And it looks like, Dennis, do you want to go back? It looks like that. So I think that's slide 7 or 8. You just click on that. And so it looks like lots of you have found your way there. We'll get you in there. We've got Marie from Edmonton. Hello. Excellent. Okay. So we've got people just running up. Some people aren't sure, but most of you say, yes, you have a Canva for Educators account. That is excellent. Okay, Dennis, let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
One person doesn't. So if you don't have a Canva for Educators account, that would mean that you likely have your own account. Like, so you've used your Gmail or your personal email and you've made it an account in Canva. And I've had Canva so long that that's how I started, probably close to 10 years ago.
Wow.
So I remember being in that account and everything had that little crown on it, meant, you have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for that. And so if you don't have Canva for Education, you're likely working out of a free account from your personal Gmail or your personal email, and you don't have a lot of content. We so would love it if you would love it if you got a teacher account. Canva loves teachers. And so they're a huge worldwide company. They do tons with businesses. Businesses use Canva. And so because they have such a huge business audience, they're able to make Canva free for educators. And so that's been a really neat a neat piece, because we have actually this huge library and a huge tool that's free to us. So if you go to canva.com/education and you don't have a hookup with your school, or if you don't have free Canva yet, you'd click on that teacher's icon. And then if you see the little inset where you can see my name, you can see that I have 2 there. I actually have one that's like my own, like I have a free teacher account, but then the second one is one that I have with my school district. And Dennis, let's go to the next slide.
Sure. Oh, right. Working on it. There we go.
There we go. And so if your district doesn't have Canva, there are some ways that you can get Canva. So if you go to canva.com/education, click on that teacher button, you can send them. You have to send them proof that you're a teacher. In Canada, the best thing to do is either a district teaching certification or like your university degree that says Bachelor of Education. I think that's what finally got it for me. Dennis, really? Tell about what happened at your district.
I've had lots of struggles because I was wanting to get the free Canva education part of Canva, and I could not. I tried everything. I never even thought of the education or university diploma route, but I got so frustrated I gave up on it, and I had other teachers wanting to get in and they were getting frustrated. But I had a colleague in Manitoba that was able to do the divisional Canva setup. So within a couple of weeks, I believe we had Canva for everybody in our school division, and it's been really great. That was about a year ago that we got that going.
Okay, now I don't have
I'm a little bit of a newbie.
I don't have a poll for that, but I would love to know in the chat, in the YouTube comments, does your school district or your school have a school or Canva account? And we'll talk about, or a school or a district account. And when we go to the next slide, we'll talk about the benefits of that.
Yeah, if you wouldn't
Madame,
mind.
I think Madame B, I think that likely would work. A teacher certificate, I would try that. That's probably the first thing that I would send in to try. Okay, so next one, Dennis, there.
Good.
So some of you might have a personal free account with as an educator, but like Dennis said, my district has a district-wide account. Dennis's does as well. And if your district doesn't have a district account, that's something you really want to talk to your IT department or get your principal to talk to your IT department to, because you can do so much more when your district is connected. And so, for example, if I have a teacher account, just a free teacher, I've proven to Canva that I'm a teacher. They send me, or they hook me up with a free account so I can do things for free. I don't have the access for my students.
Yeah.
And it's harder to connect students, and it's harder to use it as a class. If you have a district account, you can connect to Google Classroom. I think they also connect to Canvas and Schoology. Actually, it says,
You had a few there, I noticed.
it says right, I think on this screen somewhere, the ones that it connects with. And then you can use your students can connect. And so your students, I don't know about your kids in Manitoba, but our students love using Canva and they love to create things. Leanne's telling us that all Nova Scotia teachers have an education account. That's excellent. Even better if your whole province does. Okay, let's keep going. So
that's great. Yep, we got to get moving.
I don't know if Canva connects with Hapara. I don't know that it's been on the list. Here's the list right here. So it says, Canvas, Google Classroom, Schoology, ClassLink, PowerSchool, Infinite Campus, Aries, Skyward, Global Grid for Learning. I've never heard of that one. And it says, and more here. And I think that's just a screenshot, Dennis, so you can't click on that one, but there might be more. And maybe Dennis will have a chance to find that at that link and see if it's Hapara, but I'm not sure about Hapara. Okay, so the benefit is that if you do have a district account or your school is connected, one of the great parts is that you can use Google Classroom and you can assign links and templates and all sorts of great Canva design work right through your Google Classroom link. So that would be, if you're not hooked up with your school or district, it's certainly worth it. Excellent. Okay. Now, if you are already a Canva Pro, and we're going to actually on that slide, so we're on about slide, in the deck, we're on slide 13. So we would love you to vote. 20, no, on slide 13, we're going to have you vote again if you can get over there. How often do you use Canva? So we have some of you that have used it several times a week. One person says they've never used it. We only have 3 votes or so. So if you get into that slide deck and you go to slide 13, for the life of me, I know that's terrible black font on that blue background. And I, for the life of me, couldn't.
Was that Canva or was that?
No, so the poll's built in Canva, and on the other one, I could I've always been able to change the font, but for some reason, I couldn't get the font to change, and that's that's terrible accessibility. I'm owning that, and I realized that I kind of had intended to come back and fix that, and I didn't. So, of 19 votes, over half of you use Canva several times a week. About a quarter of you use it a few times a month, and some of you have never used it. So we have power users and other users. If you're a power user, and the things that I'm going to talk about as far as getting started are just way too simple for you, you might want to connect or click on canva.com/what's new. If you click on this link, there's all their new things. So you could, play around with some of the quizzes and polls and some of those other things, because we're going to start with some of the basics. Okay, so Dennis, if you go to that next slide right there, can you just go one more and then we might go back? Okay, so if you just go back to that other one, One of the easiest places to start is with templates. And this is especially true for students, but for new teachers, you can start with like a blank white page. But I find that the best way to get your teachers started, especially if you're going to, help other teachers at your school get started, is to use a template. And so you can see there that I have a bunch of Valentine's templates and some what's that called? St. Patrick's Day template.
St. Patrick's Day.
And so we are going to go one more slide forward, and then I'm going to hop into Canva, and we're going to kind of do some demoing there of some of the different ways that we can use a template. So in the from the home screen, we're going to click on that create a design button, or we're going to go right to the top of the page where there's a search button, and we're going to type in Valentine, if you go Valentine's or St. Patrick's Day or Mother's Day or something like that, we're going to just think sandbox today. We're going to play around. We're going to muck around. It's not necessarily the goal that you're going to leave with something, beautiful that you've created today, because I think it's more powerful just to play and to muck, because there's so much in Canva. So hopefully you're in for just some playing. So Dennis, I think we'll pop over to me.
Okay.
And you can just let me know if there's any questions that come up in the chat. And I think we're on my Canva home screen there. Yes. Okay. So good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on create a design. And then I've said on that little slide, let's pick either a flyer or some kind of a social media post, maybe Facebook. Though the reason that we're picking those ones is they're simple. So I'm actually going to pick a portrait flyer.
You also had a postcard too. So you have flyer, social media, or a postcard.
Yeah, so they're simple. They're a single page. If you get into a presentation or other things, there's like all these different pages. So let's just pick one that's simple. So in this particular case, I clicked on create a design, and then I picked a flyer. The other thing I could do is just come to the very, very top of the page. There's a powerful search button. And I know Valentine's is over, but okay, let's go St. Pat's. It's coming up next.
Well, Cammie's doing that. Just reminder to everybody, if you are feeling you're getting behind, you can always hit pause and go back and rewind. I call it rewind. You can tell how old I am. You can move it backwards and then hit play and then get to where you need to be. And we'll still be here. Don't worry. You won't lose us. But feel free to do that if you find that you're getting a little too far behind.
All right. So yes. So I'm going to pick St. Patrick's Day. You could do Christmas, Easter, whatever, but there's tons and tons of templates. And so that's one of the most powerful parts of Canva, is that there's templates. So what we're going to do for those of that are new to Canva, because this is advertised as our intro to Canva space, we're going to just start by looking at some of the ways that you can take a template and you can customize it. So I'm just actually going to pick the actually, let's go to this party one. I'm going to pick this one right down here. So I'm just going to click on it and it opens up. Now, they always want to sell you printing, and Canva printing is expensive. And especially if you live in a big city and you get it delivered to yourself, if you want to save some money on Canva printing, have it sent to Staples. That's a great tip. So cool. Canva print, go to Staples. So anyways, they always want to try to send you stuff. So I just want to go to customize this template, and then that'll open up in a canvas. And I'm actually going to click off. I still don't want quality flyers delivered to my doorstep because that is way too expensive. And I'm going to get rid of that. Now, here's something that is we don't always realize, is that there's a slider at the bottom here so that we can get bigger or smaller. So I like that because sometimes that little bit in the middle of the page is just a little too small. I can make it a little bigger. Now, the other thing we can do, and it's not as evident here, is we can change it to a thumbnail view. So if I had extras, they would all come here. So you can see them across the bottom, and I could turn it into a grid view.
I don't know if we can see that,
no?
Cammie, when no. You try that again. Yeah. I'm going full screen.
Why? Okay. I see what's happening. Okay. So customize this template. Thanks, Dennis. Okay, so we just went into a new tab. So can you keep an eye on that for me?
Now we got you.
Okay, There we go. So let's try that again. I'm still going to turn off this flyers pop-up. They're really wanting me to buy something. And then at the bottom, here we go. There's at the very bottom
There it
right,
is. Yep.
there's a little
There we go.
slider
We
where
can
you
see
can
it
make
now.
things
Good.
bigger. Okay, so if you're getting
Awesome.
to have the old eyes, or actually, I have a complaint about some of the Canva font, the Canva designs. They use a font that I think is often way too small for good accessibility in it. Like if this is a poster and it's a 14 size font, that's too small. Anyways, if you come over to the side here at the bottom, now can you see me adding pages there, Dennis?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
and then
perfect.
we can also put that in a film strip roll. So there's lots of different views. And if you're doing students, so for example, if we were all working together in a shared template, because we could all collaborate in here at the same time, this is a great view so that we can see what everyone's doing. But we're just going to come back to this one right here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at how to change the background. So to change a background in Canva, this one has kind of a plain white background. So I'm going to click, and can you see, Dennis, is it showing up on your screen how it's got a purple rim around it?
It does, yes.
Okay, so that says my background is selected. Then when my background is selected, right up above, there's a little color swatch. If I click on that, it says change background color. And then I have all the colors. So one of the things that Canva does is you can see that at the top of this choice bar here, it says dominant colors. It's picking from the color palette. So if I put an image in, if I upload an image or I add something of my own, it'll actually pull the colors and it'll often give it to us because it wants us to create beautiful things. So if I wanted to, let's say, I'm going to come down here and use this really bright green. Watch your eyes, everybody. I'm just kind of doing that for effect. If I put that one down there, I can see that it's really bright. Now, the other thing that we can do is we can have gradients. And so if we come to the very bottom of the background, this is kind of a fun background feature. I've clicked on this gradient. It's kind of, let's see, I want to find one that's kind of greeny. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Now, if I come back to the top, to click up here, so I clicked on the color gradient again. Now, when I open it, do you see how I have that as a choice on my colors? And if I open that, I now have some gradient colors. And I can change. So if I want this to be more green, I'm trying to get a green gradient going on there. So I have some green gradient. Let's make that a little lighter. There we go. And then I can change this one. So
and again, keep going, Cami. Yep.
Background gradients are fun. Okay, go ahead,
That's
Dennis.
great. Oh, I was just going to say, I know as Cami did a lot of clicking around there. Feel free to pause, go back, take a look, come back and join us when you're done.
All right. So once again, I've clicked on the background. When I hover over it, says background color. I went way to the bottom and I picked a gradient. Okay. And then once I've done that, you kind of have to come back out. It doesn't populate up in your colors. You have to kind of go back and click it at the top, that little button right above the item. And then when that opens again, you get your gradient. You've got some little items there where you can, I lost the one that I had there. So that is a fun one. Now what you'll see is that those pale green items don't show up very well. And I'm not necessarily going to create a beautiful thing today, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at how we can create some different items there. So Dennis, we did background. Let's look at font. Okay, so let's say we don't like this orange font, even though that's kind of Irish colors, the green and the orange. Let's say we wanted to change the fonts. And so now, do you notice when I click on the font, I get a whole different toolbar. And so a couple things we can do here is I can change to different types of fonts. Okay, so I can come through here and they have a huge font library. And I can even go, like, let's say I want to go, let's say bold. No, let's go funky. I don't know if that's a font type. Groovy. So yeah, so if I typed in groovy as a style, there's all these kind of different fonts. And if I wanted, I could go like romantic or I could go classic. and it would give me all different kinds of fonts. And so when I click on a font, then I get the font library up here, and I can change the different kinds. So that's one way to do it. Now, the other thing that we can do is, again, if we click on font, is we get the text color. So again, if I click on where it says text color, I get on the left-hand side that whole palette that opens up. And so I can choose colors that are already in the image, or I can come on down and I can click other colors. Let's say I wanted to get rid of some of that orange. I could put it in that other green color. And so that is one of the ways that we can change the font.
Cool.
Question, Dennis?
No, going great so far. I just not like, how about uploading images? Like, can you?
Yeah, we're going to get there. We're going to do all those things. These are some of the basics first. Now, the next thing you'll see here is actually, let's click on the font one more time. There's a transparency button. So that's often helpful. And then the effects button is different. So if we click on the effects, we get all sorts of other things that we can do. So this is where we have our shadow. And there's usually like a bar that we can have more or less of that. So you can see there's all sorts of ways that we can adjust the fonts once we've chosen them. So that is what happens when we click on effect. Now, the last thing we're going to look at are the elements. So you'll notice here that I had all these really pale green, what are those things called? Shamrocks. So here I'm going to click on a shamrock. Now, when I have an element, a shamrock's called an element here. When I have that selected, what do you notice about the color at the top?
It's showing up at the top there.
Yeah, so I have 3 colors. So that's interesting. So what I'm guessing is that one's a kind of an inside and outside, and then a something else. So let's click on and see what happens. So can you see that top corner shamrock? I've got that selected, Dennis.
Yeah, it's hard to see, but it's very faint. But yeah, I can see it.
I'm thinking, do you see how the transparency is low? Yeah. So I'm going to move the transparency up. It's also kind of a lime or a really pale green that doesn't match my groovy background anymore. So if I click on the first one, it's going to open up the color palette. And interesting.
Oh, wow.
So it was
that's why there's different colors. I see.
It's those two. So they might have made it with hearts, actually.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Is how I'm thinking. They probably just made their own shamrock like that. So if I click on something else, let's go down here. Here's another one. Oh, yeah. So it's interesting. All of those have those three pieces. So I wasn't expecting that. Sometimes it's inside and outside. Now, if I come back to here and I wanted to put a border around it, that's the border on the whole thing. Let's get one of those pieces individually. Oh, it's probably grouped.
You're right.
So I would have to, let's see, group.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. Yeah, it's usually there's an ungroup there.
Comment, link, alternative text. Duplicates the whole thing. Well, that's interesting that it didn't.
It doesn't let you get the lines in.
Yeah. So those are some elements. Now down here we have this whole party shamrock going. This what do you call that thing? Like a valence? No, there's a better word. If you know the word I'm thinking of for that thing that goes across there.
You got me.
That's not the right word. Let me know. Okay.
Anybody in the chat? No, I'm not too sure. I'm not the decorator in the family, so I can't really. Garland.
Yeah, that'll do. Thank you to whoever saved me there.
Thanks, Kimberly.
Okay, there we go. So
streamer. Somebody
now
said
streamer, yes. So now here, let's see what happens. If I click the orange and I go to purple, it changes them all. Okay, so you can see here how these elements now are all so in Canva, this is likely one piece. And so let's see how we can add new element and new text. So if I come over to the T, so now I'm on the left-hand side. So if I come to the T, I could add just regular, find a font. But one of the things I like to do is come down to the bottom and check out all of these groovy font combinations. So if I take a look at,
wow, there is lots.
let's go here, this Time to Thrive. I can now use that, and you can see when I click on that, it's got the colors. So up here, I can change the colors, that pink. So I would change, there we go. So there's all those groovy fonts below when you click on the text selector, right? So I can ungroup those, and I can go, let's see here. Ooh.
And then you can fit it to the theme of the.
Yes. So I want to call this Shamrock. Okay, Time to Shamrock, or whatever you're looking at there. So any of these, I can change the font. Nice. Sometimes I even like part of it, and so I delete the other part that I don't want. And so now you can see Shamrock here has. I want to make that green, and you can see it has an inside and an outside. So it also has a border. And what's probably actually in effects. And so, yeah, so if I, can you see here when
the thickness of the line.
Now, the reason I knew that had a border was because, watch when I click on the word Shamrock, Dennis, can you see up above in the toolbar, whatever is applied is purple. So it's bold, so I can unclick it. And then it's also, do you see how the effects is?
Yeah, I see that.
So that's how I knew that it wasn't a border around the font. That there was an effect over here. So it's using the outline effect. And so I can make that bigger or smaller.
Interesting.
So these are the kinds of things. This is why we're mucking around, because you can do so much to change or fix it or get a template. So the other thing we're going to do is we're going to come up into elements, and we're going to type, what's something else shamrocky?
Pots of gold.
Leprechaun. I don't even know how to spell that. But here's, let's put this little leprechaun on the rainbow here. Now, when we click on this guy, I have a lot going on here. When I click on this leprechaun, sometimes if we have an element, it will show the colors. And so if I have an element that's quite plain, I might be able to change that element from green to blue to something else. Right here, this particular element, if I wanted to change anything about it, I would come up to the edit button, and then I could, do some different things with my element over here as far as colors, shadows, all sorts of things. So sometimes those elements let you change the colors just like we did with the Shamrock. Sometimes if they're more detailed, like this particular guy, we could make him, here's blurry. So we could blur him or parts of him. So we got a whole window there. So there's lots of different things that we can do. So I have a mess. I've been doing color swapping and font swapping and all sorts of things. Dennis, let's go to the next slide or two in that deck. So if you put your deck back up, just go to the next one. So hopefully you've picked a social media flyer. I'm assuming you've been playing as I have. If you haven't, we're gonna pop. We'll take about a couple minutes, give you a second to just play around. Let us know.
Yeah. Let us know what you're doing on your Canva.
Picking. Are you doing St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day? What you're doing, playing around. What's a really neat thing that you didn't know that you could do that maybe you've stumbled upon by accident, or maybe I showed you? What's a new piece that you've learned or just figured out? So we'll give you.
Let us know in the chat.
How about you, Dennis? What are some things there while our friends are playing around with picking a template and messing with it? Remember, it's a sandbox today. Dennis, what was something that you didn't know?
Well, when you clicked on the element, I think they're called, and then you mentioned that you knew what was going on because they were purple. and you could tell that those were applied to that particular element. That's very helpful because I've always wondered that. And when I'm working with teachers and students, they're messing around so much. I think they don't realize. Well, that's something I'll bring into
Yes.
the
Well,
classroom
and to be fair though, Canva's so complex that you're never quite sure, is this an effect that's applied, or
Right.
is
Yeah.
it a text? Is it a text and then does the text have a border around it? So there's actually lots of things
Yeah.
that could be
The
going.
remove background is a really cool tool. Not just it's with any kind of picture. It's really neat image that they brought in. Oh, so Kimberly Ann mentioned that her district board has brand elements, including logos, colors, and slides. Nice.
I'm going to show that real quick because
Oh.
if your board does have that, that's one of the super reasons why you would want to get to
Okay.
why you would want to go to.
So we could do that in our district as well.
Likely, yes. So if I come to brand here, you can see I've clicked on brand, and now here are all of I have access to all the brands in my district. So if you see here, let's go to, here's our district logo. I'm from Prairie Rose. So if I go select brand kit, watch what happens to the palette choices on the left. Did you see that?
Yeah.
So here's our logos, and I could pop those in there. And now this logo is an element. Oh, no, that one I can't recolor that one. But now let's see if I change a school, right? So I'm going to change to a different school. And so you'll see that the color changes, the logos are different, all the colors are different, and the fonts.
That's really cool.
So your school has to set up the brand kit. So once your school has Canva for Schools, your school or your district sets up the brand kits, and those are super helpful because
that's great.
Now I could I can change this really easily to, did you see what I did there? So if I click shuffle, now this whole
nice.
This whole thing is no longer in St. Pat's colors. It's now in one of my school colors, and so I can keep going through their color palette. So
that's really thanks, Kimberly Ann, for mentioning that, because I think that'll be helpful for us. That's another thing I learned today. So
yeah, so
I'm
you should
a lot.
Yeah, so you should ask your IT guy about that. Okay.
That'll be me. That's the guy who's
yeah, you're going to set that up. And so I believe if you have to have like some back end admin powers in the brand, like I can't set that up because I don't have those pieces. So Lauren said she made some neat rewards charts for her classes, pre-designed. Yes, lots of things. We're going to get to some of their pre-designed educational stuff. Okay, Dennis, let's go to the next slide.
Sure. Let's get you over there. Are we on? There we go. Yep.
Okay, so go another one there. You've played with some templates. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at uploading images and frames, because often we want to make it our own. Okay, so a couple things that we can do there is let's come on over here to my piece. And on the left-hand side, we have uploads. Oh, and so Dennis had sent me his Bitmoji. Actually, I'm gonna just put your Bitmoji down here. There we go.
So, Madam B, can we set up our own brand kits? It sounds like you need your technology. I don't know if you're in education or your division or your district has that. So maybe you can't. I guess you could do your own, maybe your own personal brand, perhaps.
Yeah. So I believe the brand kit is something that comes with the district. I don't think you can do it on if you just have an individual account.
So it's got to be through the district.
Pretty sure.
And Lauren was able to make some really cool, what'd she have there? Neat reward charts.
Reward charts.
Nice. I like it.
Yes. Okay. So now what I've done is I've gone to uploads, and I've come to some uploads that I already have, and I've just slid them in there. What you will do is you'll come to upload files. And then I'm not sure if are you seeing I think I'm just sharing a tab. So what's happened is you're seeing my whole desktop here where I could pick an image, and here is an image
Yeah,
from
we can't see your desktop. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Something's coming up
so
there.
you can see here something's coming in. So I just went and picked an image, and this is just an image on this is from flight school that we've been working on. And so we have this image here. Now this image could use some cleaning up. And so I could, just like you can do an Instagram, you can clean up those images, fix them up and do some things like that. So that is one thing we want to take a look at, is how to get those images in there and how to upload those. The other thing that we're going to look at is when you have an image, I'm going to get rid of this one. You might have a picture like this. And the other really neat thing that you can do with images or any uploads is often people want to know how to use frames. And so if we I'm going to come back to elements, and I'm actually going to search for frames. Frames are special. So frames are, let's just go. So across the top, I have all frames, graphics, photos. I'm going to click on frames. And then you see frames are these blue and green pieces that look like landscape. Can you see that, Dennis?
Yep.
Are they showing up there? Okay. Yep. So what happens is these are special pieces. So I'm going to just put this one in here. And, I don't know. Is there a shamrock? Shamrock frame. Not really.
No.
But we'll use a heart, just because we were thinking about going with Valentine's Day. So I have these two frames that I've just pulled in here. So what happens now is, let's take Dennis's image, and let's put it in the heart. There we go. So what happens is that image snaps wherever you have that shape.
Nice.
Okay, so now we have Dennis in that shape, so it fills the image. Okay, and so this looks like a shattered glass. All right, so I could put half of me in there. Now, here's the problem that some people encounter. How do I get that out of there? Special little trick you have to do. So I right click and you scroll right to the very bottom. And oh my goodness, where is it now? You want to get detach image. There it is. It's not on that one. So detach image. So you can see how Dennis's image pops out there. So once you get those images in, sometimes if you're helping students and something seems stuck or it won't work, it's because they've actually put something inside of a frame. And so that makes it a little harder to, like, if it's like, this thing shouldn't work this way, or why isn't this doing this? There, I can detach the image. It's often because it's in a frame and it is stuck there.
I gotcha. So once again, make sure that if you are falling behind or you can't keep up, please hit pause, go back, catch up, and go through that and come back and join us when you are ready. Looks like, oh yeah, Denise, you made a banner. Nice. Right on. This is really cool. I like the filters. Really? Or sorry, the frames, not the filters.
The frames, yeah. So frames are, when you use a lot of templates, they'll have frames. And so frames are one of the parts that we like to use, that people love to use, but sometimes it just makes it easier because we don't have to put a board. Like we can then so let's put me back in here. Let's put me in this one. I can take this now, and at the top I can add a border. Woo!
Oh wow. Yeah.
Okay, so I could add I've got all sorts of things that I can do here. I can make a big border, little border. I can also, it's time to show this thing that you were talking about. If you don't know about this one, this is probably the best piece of Canva, is the background remover. So here's me on a background. This is part of Canva that I'm sure everybody's used and loved, but some of you might not have used this yet. Dennis, can you see how I have the picture chosen? So I've taken it. I had to take it out of the frame. So it's just a picture now. And you can see that it has a background, but the picture's chosen. I'm going to click on background remover, and it's going to be magic. It's going to whoosh.
Incredible how quickly it does it too. Do you have to make the swishing sounds?
Yes, it goes faster that way. You should try it. Okay. So just like that, I have a background remover, so that it's just awesome. Now, I am going to show restraint and resistance here because I would just like to go off and do a whole session on magic AI image tools. because
Oh,
that's a whole session in itself, but I'm
oh,
going
yeah.
to resist because that's not what we're supposed to do here, Dennis. Okay, let's go
Yeah.
to the next slide in the deck.
Okay. Yeah, that
You can
that
let us know. We'd love to know in the chat. Have you used background remover before? Let's go to the last one. Okay, so we've done uploading images and frames. We've done remove background as a little bonus. Now I have to take you for a dip into Magic Media.
Okay, good.
So I'm
we
just
might
gonna
lose
go down
everybody
here.
though, but that's okay. That's okay.
What's
That's
that?
okay. We might lose everybody. They might spend the rest of the time doing
that might be okay. So so there's a couple ways to get to Magic Media. One is on the bottom left, or on the left, if you scroll down, you'll get to Magic Media. The other place you can find it is in Elements. And I'm just going to go back to all. And I'm going to get rid of what I have in my search bar. So I've cleared the search. Now, if you're in Elements, if you go about you do about 2/3 or a third of the way down the page, if you have nothing in your search, then you get generate your own. Okay, so I'm going to type a picture. Let's say, okay, a leprechaun. I don't know how to spell that. Leprechaun. Oh, it'll know what I mean. I think a leprechaun wearing a pink shirt, dancing beside a pot of gold with a rainbow, of course, in the background. All right, so Magic Media is this thing that generates images for you. A couple points when you're doing that. If we're looking for an image, a picture, a photo, that's really difficult. It's more difficult for AI to do accurately. So let's actually just do this. If I come to styles and I want photo and I ask it for a pink leprechaun, it's going to struggle. Pink leprechaun beside a pot of gold by a rainbow. So chances are good that the photo version of this isn't going to be super. Oh my goodness. I have to put that there so you can see.
Put that in there. That is pretty cool.
So do you notice it has like a Christmas tree and all the things? So that's interesting. Now I could background remove an image from Magic Media as well. Okay, so I'm left with just my elf or my leprechaun in a pink shirt, which it probably is that. Okay, now if I take that same one and I'm going to say go back. Oh, I should have. Oh, leprechaun in a pink shirt standing beside a pot of gold near a rainbow. There's also, I'm going to just copy that into if I go to styles and I pick something that's more.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So let's go digital art. Okay. And I ask it to do it now. So I've actually chosen anime. You'll notice if you look at that, if you looked at that leprechaun really closely, he probably doesn't have enough fingers, right? Also,
it's looking a little weird. Yeah,
aren't quite right. That was quite a weird picture. It was trying to do that. Now, if we look at this one, it's interesting how there's old leprechauns and young leprechauns. Isn't that interesting? This guy's okay, right? He's leprechaun pot of gold beside a rainbow. I didn't tell it much about the background, but it did that pretty well. So when you're if you have Magic Media turned on, some schools have it turned on for students, some don't. So it may be something that you can use as a teacher. It may be something that you can have your students use. That will be something to note, is that if you have it generate a photo, it's usually less successful. If you come and you choose a different artistic style, those are quite nice as well. Okay, Dennis, let's go to the next slide. So we've done some Magic Media. We've looked at styles. You might be stuck playing around the whole time there. Let's just.
Well, that's still Magic Media.
Yeah, okay. Magic Media. We've played around. This is actually, if you want to use that, just go back one. A fun prompt with your staff or with your teachers. if you have them list ahead of time a favorite place, a favorite color, a favorite animal,
Right.
and a favorite job, then you have them type that little piece in. So then you get like in the mountains or at a ski resort, a purple giraffe becomes the town's newest
Gotcha. Right.
dishwasher.
Right.
That's pretty fun. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Like a
kids
Mad
can,
Lib.
yes,
That's
that
pretty good.
background remover works with anything. So the AI generated, the clip art, it works on anything, not just our own photos. Okay, let's keep going ahead there, Dennis. Okay, so the education library is something that I really want us to be aware of, just as we're knowing about Canva and education. There are gazillions, well, close, of ready-made teaching resources. So if you are someone who has purchased resources from a place that sells them to teachers, I would say, please start making your own.
Yeah.
There are actual, like just single resources like fraction sheets. They also have lessons, which are like full out. Here's the teacher's guide. Here's the student piece. Here's the presentation. They have about 100 lessons as well. And then they have also some courses that they've started to develop. And so you can see they only have 10 so far, but there's ones on there's a NASA one on space, oceans project. So they're teaming up with organizations and they're building actual courses. So you can certainly take a look at those. On the next page, I have a link showing us how to get to the real sweet spot of Canva. So I'm going to come back. Let's go to back to my page here. So Canva can be a little hard to get around sometimes, and so I'm right now in a design. I can always come to the top of the page and click on those 3 buttons, and then that will give me the home page. So right up here, here's back to Canva home. Okay, and in Canva home, you can see all my recent designs. So there's the one that I'm just in. So whether I'm in that design or not, on the left-hand side, once we can see that home button, if we scroll or if we just slide down, we see templates. And then if I go to education, teacher friends, this is a great place. So you can then go, so let's say we want science, and I want to do, I don't know, water cycle. That's a pretty common element. So right here we have at the top, you can see these are some lessons, but then at the bottom, these are also a bunch of templates. So you can see some of them are slide decks that have all the pages already, right? So you can see condensation, evaporation, runoff if you look here. Some of these are just flyers, right? So there's single pages just like we did, but there are whole so if I open this one down here, I can see what's in it. I can preview it. And if I want to customize it, I could click on it and then that would pull it in. Right now I'm just in view. So if I wanted to do, let's go St. Patrick's, let's do space. Okay, so again, all of these are pre-made lessons. Now, Canva actually hires teachers to create quality materials. And so not just anybody can throw a thing up into their library. These are vetted materials, and most of them, they're lovely, right? So you can, let's go back, the filters, you can, not those filters, templates, education. There's the filters here. You can see you can filter by grade, by resource type, right? So if you want a presentation, a poster, check out the worksheets. Okay, so these are, you don't need that other site. You can come in here, and that's why we spent so much time playing around in how to take a template and customize it. All the things that we did, you need those skills to customize your education templates. Dennis, did you have any idea about the template?
Well, ever since I started reading your stuff, I realized that there's a lot in there, but I have noticed it before. It's kind of overwhelming.
Madame asks about French. There are some in French. There are some that exist in French, but also Canva has really nice translation tools. And so you can, here, let's just go back to space. If I open up this space lesson,
Yeah, I'd like to
customize,
see that translation. That'd be cool. Yeah.
of course, off the top of my head, I think it's under file. Yeah. Of course, Dennis, I cannot remember where it is.
That's okay. You know what? We know there's a
Yes,
translation.
but it does. I thought it was under file, settings, it has a great accessibility checker. But it has lots of languages and you can translate. So that is something I hadn't planned to talk about, but thanks, Madame, for asking. You can do some French translations, but there are some French texts as well. Okay, let's go to the next slide, Dennis, on your side.
Sure. There was a question from Cindy is asking about, is Dreamlab similar to Magic Media?
Oh, Dreamlab and Magic Media. Actually, Cindy, there's a whole so Leonardo is the big company that has worked with Canva to create Dreamlab. It's kind of like this separate entity. So if you go into Dreamlab, it just is this separate image maker, right? It's like you're not even inside of a template, you're not inside of a project or anything else. So they're different but similar. So they are different. And we just looked at Magic Media today. Okay, Dennis, the next slide there. Oh, this is a neat. Is that the?
I think I went.
Oh, did you? Okay, so we were going to do this template scavenger hunt. We're not going to because we did a lot of just other playing and talking. If you want to use this with your own teachers, it is a great resource. If you let's see if you click on that, basically what it does is it opens a template in your Canva environment, and then you customize it. So if Dennis opened it and Kimberly opened it and Denise opened it, you'll all get your own, and then basically it's just a little scavenger hunt where you find different ones. So I wanted to show you an example of what it looks like to use a template. Okay, keep going, Dennis.
All right. We're almost there.
We're almost there. Canva for Education has incredible tools. I'm going to slide over here. So Canva for Education, share this tab instead.
Oh, you want me to pop your page?
Yeah, let's put, I think we just both did me at the same time. Okay. So if you click into Canva for Education, there's a link here and you scroll down. There are resources to help you as a teacher learn. There's certifications, AI, an incredible AI courses on how to use Canva, cheat sheets, tutorials. We even use these with students. They're most excellent that way. Dennis, let's go back to your deck.
Okay.
The next one, the next page is the Canva. One more. There we go. This is in Canva Design School. And so the link will take you to the AI course. It is phenomenal if you want to learn to use all of those magic AI image tools like background remover and image grabber. Oh, it's just like fascinating. There's so much you can do. That is an excellent, excellent course. It takes half an hour, 30 minutes, that's the same, half an hour to an hour, depending on how much you've used Canva before. If you're interested in Canva and all those design image tools, check that out. All right, Dennis, I think we're almost at the end. Yeah, you can skip that one. And then this is where we're going to talk about the co-taught lessons coming up.
Oh, yes. Yep. So coming up is our co-taught lessons. I think that's next week, isn't it, Cami? Coming up. I think you're doing a few, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm doing.
I'll be. I think I'm doing the weather report. Woo! I'm going to work hard to figure out how to do a weather report. So take a look at those. Make sure.
If you haven't done a co-taught before, what happens is it's a logics person, and we come on and we teach your students. So you press play, and then your hands free to roam around the class. We do a little teaching, and then we say pause here, And
Yep.
then you and your kids do that work, and then you come back and you press play, and we teach you another thing. And so there's a whole bunch of co-taught lessons that are available. Those are awesome. Tammy
Loads.
Brewster says, thank you, Tammy Brewster. Hello, Tammy Brewster. You have to select the text, and then you can right click and translate at the bottom. So that would be each element of text. I thought there was also a way that you could translate a whole piece. Madame, I'm pretty sure that it has some pretty good capabilities there. I'm sorry, I don't know. I haven't done that in a while. I don't know exactly where to click. Okay, Dennis.
I'm putting in some links for the co-taught lessons if you're interested in checking those out. And of course, we do have a little feedback survey that we would like you to fill out and let us know how we did and what else you would like to see on Logix Academy Teacher PD. So take some time and look at those. Hopefully we'll see you in a co-taught lesson. We'll look for your classrooms and we can work with your students. It'll be lots of fun.
Okay, Dennis,
thanks,
let's put my screen back up. Thank you to Leanne, who I knew it was over there somewhere. Thank you, Leanne. So if we put, do we have my screen?
Your screen's up.
Okay.
You are on the Canva tab.
Okay,
yes.
that'll be just great. So I was clicking here under File. It's actually under Resize. Thank you, Leanne. So if I click on Resize and I come all the way down, under here I can go Translate.
Oh.
And then I can translate the whole page or all the pages or the pages that I want. I've used the translate quite extensively. Dennis, you'll appreciate this for our low Mennonite population. It doesn't do low Mennonite German, but we translated it often to like just regular high German because lots of them can read that. So I've used the translate button. Thank you, Leanna. It's like, I know this is here and I know it.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. It's under Resize. You wouldn't think it'd be there, but yeah. Okay. That's
okay.
Cool.
Thank you for sticking with us. We know that lots of you are experienced Canva users. We hope you found one little tip or trick. Before you go, we'd love to know in the chat, what's one thing new that you learned today? Hopefully there was one thing that you didn't know that we uncovered for you today. Hopefully if you don't have Canva for education for yourself, you can get it, and even better for your school or district.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks. Let us know in the chat what you was your favorite new thing today, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to check out the co-taught lessons and all of the other Canva lessons coming up in the next weeks.
Excellent. Thanks, Kimberly Ann. Thanks for all your input, everybody. That was very nice of you to let us know that you're here. It's awesome. And so I think that's it, right, Kimmy? So we're going to say goodbye. See you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for coming out. Bye-bye.